on rejoicing and singing and learning about a God who wrapped himself in human clothing and came to be among mankind. It's going to be an exciting time together, and I'm just excited that you're here. Did you have a good Thanksgiving celebration? I sure hope that you did. I know that we did. We have a lot in our household to be thankful for. But with Thanksgiving in the rearview mirror, we're going to be able to look now at one of our most favorite times of the year, the Christmas season. I love everything about Christmas. I am not a bah humbug. I am not a Grinch. I don't think there's anything about Christmas I don't like. I love the decorations. I love the lights. I love the trees. I love the stockings. Anything that's stuffed in my stocking, I love that too. But one of my favorite parts about Christmas time is Christmas music, right? How many of you like Christmas music? Right? All right, some of you like Christmas. How many of you just tolerate Christmas music? Okay, you put your hands up. How many of you don't like Christmas music at all, right? You're in church, you can be honest, right? Some of you don't like it. It's all right, it's good. Well, I thought, I'd start off with a little Christmas music trivia. Which one of these songs was last year's #1 holiday song on the Billboard Holiday 100 charts? What do you think? We're going to kind of test your knowledge of things. Is it All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree by Linda Lee, or Mary Did You Know Pentatonic? Just shout it out, whichever one you think. All right, I'm hearing a lot of different things that are in there, but it was All I Want for Christmas, right? That was the #1 Christmas song last year, right? According to the Billboard top charts that are there, right? Top 100. And you know what's fascinating about these top 100 charts that's out there, these Billboard holiday songs? Only 8 out of the 100 actually deal with the birth of Christ directly. And of those 8, with the birth of Christ dealing with them directly, only one of those 8 have the name of Christ in it. So it just kind of goes to remind you that even though this is really kind of a great time of year, and we celebrate, and it's the Christmas season, it's the Christmas holiday, we have fun. A lot of what we sing about is Santa, and sleigh rides, and fireplaces, and being around people that you love, and eating great foods. And listen, I am for all of those things. Those are wonderful things. But what we don't want to forget is the real reason why we celebrate Christmas. The whole reason why we celebrate Christmas, which is Jesus. Amen. The Christ, the Messiah. So today we're going to start this kind of sermon series called Christmas series that we're calling the Songs of Hope that Paul shared with you earlier, because songs of Christmas can kind of transport you emotionally and spiritually, can't they? I mean, Christmas songs can deal with hope and new meaning. There's a lot of emotions and memories tied to Christmas songs. They sometimes share timeless truths. And so every Sunday, from now even to the end of the year, we're going to consider some of the Christmas classics. We're going to get a fresh perspective for this Christmas season. And when you think about these songs, I'm hoping that you're going to find some new meaning in some of these old tunes as we kind of go through those together. So I invite you to just kind of buckle in for this time that's in there. If you missed, you can always catch up online. And so to kick off this series, we're going to start with the song that we just got done singing. God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, right? Fantastic song. And there's something that I love about that song. It's kind of like the beat, the rhythm of that song. It's like, the rhythm of it just kind of gets me going. I love the song, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And I've sung that song many, many different times in my life, especially when I was growing up and I was younger. And the truth of the matter is this, I'm going to confess to you this morning. I had no idea what it actually meant. And you ever had that experience? You sing along with a song, you know all the words, you know all the lyrics, you got all the rhythms and all the moves go with it, but you don't really know what it means? I'm the only one? Okay, all right. I'm going to throw other folks out there. This is one of those songs for me, right? God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And what does that mean? I mean, if you're trying to just look at those lyrics by themselves at surface value, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. My KT kind of alluded to us, hoping that we have some rest that's in there. We look over there, and so in our culture today, we would look at that word rest, and it kind of just means kind of kick back, right? Relax just a little bit. And you look at that word merry, and you think about someone who's happy in today's culture, in today's climate. Someone who's kind of joy-filled in their life. And if you take those two meanings together, right, and you apply them to the lyric, it probably reads something like this. God wants you to take a nap, you happy people. Or God wants you to get some rest, you happy people, right? And if that's the meaning of this song, this now becomes my new #1 favorite Christmas song of all time. And if you look at the rest of the lyrics, they talk about, remember that Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power, right, as we've gone astray. And you're like, well, If God is telling me to get some rest, you happy people, there's kind of a disconnect between that lyric and then the rest of the song that's in there. There's something that tells me that when Christ was born into this world, that first Christmas morning, that God's purpose in doing that was far greater than me ever taking a nap. And so maybe there's something a little bit more to this lyric when it was originally written. So I did a little bit of research here the last few weeks, and I discovered this first song came to fruition back in Europe, back in the 15th century, and a lot has changed in the English language. Those of you who have ever been over in England know that we don't speak the King's English here in the United States, but even more so 500 or 600 years ago, a lot of meaning have been changed in the different words that we use today and from where they were originally written. If you were to go back to the Middle Ages, you would find this word merry didn't mean happy like it means for us today. Instead, the word merry often is applied to something that is strong, something that is mighty, something that is victorious. Maybe you've heard of Robin's merry men. They weren't happy men or joyful men prancing around, right? They were strong, they were mighty, they were victorious. And so back in the Middle Ages, again, if you had a strong army, you might call it a merry army. If you had a fantastic singer, you might have called them a merry singer, right? If you had an authoritative ruler, they might have been called a merry ruler. And so the word merry, when the song was originally written, meant strong, mighty, victorious. But if you also look back to that first word in the lyrics, where it says God rests, right? And the word rest, when it was originally was written, was meant to make or to keep. So if you take those two words and you apply it to this new meaning, God rest ye merry gentlemen, it looks more something like this. God make you victorious. God make you strong. God make you mighty. God keep you strong. God keep you victorious. God keep you mighty. And there's something about that lyric that all of a sudden comes to life for me now when I look at that song. And you say, yes, that's the purpose why God wrapped himself into human form and came into this world. God didn't come into this world so that I can take a nap, you happy people. Instead, he came into this world to make you mighty, to make you great, to make you victorious, to keep you mighty, great, and victorious. God came into this world so that you and I might be set free. So today we're going to talk really about what it looks like to kind of step into that experience, that in the light of that first Christmas, really in what God accomplished in our life through Jesus. Now, if you look at through the rest of those lyrics in that song, talks about through that first Christmas, God brought about tidings of comfort and joy, right? Comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. And just kind of launching us out through this idea that we can discover the comfort of God that was brought to us through Jesus, and how that actually leads to our victory, and how that actually leads to us becoming strong, how it leads to us becoming mighty. So to understand that, I want you to open up your Bibles, right? We call ourselves Open Bible because we want you to open your Bible. Amen. And I want you to open to the New Testament, to 2 Corinthians, chapter number 1. We're going to be starting off in verse number 3, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 3. You should have it in your bulletins printed there. There might be a Bible on the end of your pew, pull it up on your electronic devices. However you look at the Word of God, we'll try to have it on the screens as well. But in 2 Corinthians, the Apostle Paul is writing his letter to the church of Corinth about the life-changing, eternity-altering comfort that only comes from God. And so we're going to lean into really what God was up to that very first Christmas. And here's the first thing I think that we're going to discover, is that you and I need to seek the God of all comfort. You and I need to seek the God of all comfort. You know, there's a lot of things that we can seek during the holiday times, right? We're seeking after some of our some hot deals that we can find for Christmas shopping. We're seeking some good food that maybe we only have around the Christmas season. Maybe there's some gatherings we get to go to that, especially during this time of year, we travel home, the family, different times. A lot of things that we seek. And so 2 Corinthians chapter 1, when we get to the red letters, I want you to read it out loud with me. Kind of give me some gusto today. Here's what it says. All praise to the God and to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. God is our merciful Father and the source of all our comfort, right? I love what that says. God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort, right? Some of your versions say that God is our Father of compassion and the source of comfort. It's in there, right? And so when it comes to experiencing any kind of comfort, like true comfort, right? Life-changing comfort that you and I experience in this world, God is the source. God is the source when it comes to all comfort that we may experience in this world. Now, here's what I've discovered over the years. When it comes to any kind of pain that you and I might experience, like anything, emotional, physical, whatever type of pain that we might experience, masking the pain never eradicates the pain. You understand that? Masking the pain never eradicates the pain. I remember a time I had an accident when I was serving on the fire department, and while I was doing one of the high-angle rescues, I was up in the Cheyenne Mountain Canyon area trying to rescue a couple down from there, and I fell, broke a bone in my foot, and I remember in that moment, it was a pretty painful moment for me, but I was trying to be tough. You know what, I'm a dude, I'm around some other dudes, I'm like, just rub some dirt in it, it'll be all right. I tried to play it all off, I just dusted myself off, I tried to shook it off, I walked on it, it's in there, but the longer that I tried to walk on it, the more my foot began to continue to hurt and begin to throb. So what did I do? I took a lot of Advil, that's what I did. I took the maximum dose because I was going to do whatever I could to kind of curb the pain. Now, fast forward a little bit in time, I kind of got to the hospital that was in there and saw the doc, they did the x-rays, then they sent me to the orthopedic surgeon to have surgery on my foot and to have it repaired. And although the Advil was curbing the pain a little bit, it was not eradicating the pain. See, there's a difference between actually curbing the pain and doing something about it. Making the pain or masking the pain never eradicates the source of the pain. The only way that you can get healing in the long term is if you address the source of pain. And in doing so, you can ultimately bring about healing in your life. And so after I had the surgery on my foot and started having to walk in a boot for several weeks, and over the course of time, because I had addressed the source of pain, I was ultimately free from the pain. Masking the pain never takes the pain away. And here's the truth. As we engage in the Christmas season, for some of us, the Christmas season is the most fun, celebratory, joy-filled season ever imagined. I mean, you're just having a blast. You love everything about it. But I'm also very much aware that a lot of us in the Christmas season, for us, it's a very different and difficult season. Because if you experienced any kind of loss during this time of year, any kind of tragedy, if you wrestle with any issues of loneliness, there's just something about this holiday season that kind of tends to magnify the difficulty that we're experiencing. And what do we do in those moments? Will we mask the pain, or will we allow God to eradicate the pain? And the beauty of who God is, as Paul describes him, is that He's the source of all of our comfort. And it's in this recognition that very first Christmas that the divine wrapped Himself in human clothing and came down and He dwelt among us, that He was with us. And the beautiful thing about God is God looked at our sin-sick, pain-filled, messed up world, but God didn't turn a blind eye to it. What did God do? God stepped into it. God went into the mess. He came alongside of us. Why? Because God wants us to eradicate the pain. He went right after the source. Got to the heart of the matter. And what's the source? The Bible teaches us that it's this thing called sin. That the source of our pain ultimately in this world, whether it's our sinful choices or somebody else's sinful choices, is that it creates a sin-sick, pain-filled, messed up world. But God didn't turn a blind eye to it. That wasn't a part of His original intention for creation. And so God stepped in to all of humanity to eradicate that source, to liberate us from that thing so that you and I can experience new life, so that you and I can experience new hope. And when the song says, God rest you merry gentlemen, we're reminded on that very first Christmas that God came into the world and He stepped into our pain to eradicate it for us in our journeys and in our lives, in every aspect. We don't mask the pain. We seek out the God of all comfort who desires to eradicate it, right? Now, if you look at 2 Corinthians and many other actually places in Scripture, you really kind of look and you find this idea of what God's comfort really is all about. When you look here in this passage and other passages in the Bible, you really kind of see two instructions that always go with one another when we're talking about the God of comfort. And the two instructions that is this, to seek out our own comfort from God, and then to extend what we receive from God into the lives of others. We're going to talk about that second piece in just a minute. But notice what the Bible never instructs us to do. It tells us to seek our comfort in God, but it never tells us to comfort ourselves. The Bible never tells us to comfort ourselves. And the reason why the Bible never instructs us to comfort ourselves is because when we comfort ourselves, we mask the pain without trusting a God to eradicate the pain. Listen, we mask the pain in all kinds of different ways. Sometimes we mask it with food. We even call it comfort food, right? Some of you this Thanksgiving have some of your go-tos, your mainstays, right? Some of your comfort food. I looked at this poll this last week, and they talked about the top 3 comfort foods that were out there. Come to find out, the top 3 comfort foods, at least at the most recent data that's out there, is ice cream, pizza, and chocolate. Common denominator is dairy, right? So you want some comfort food, right? I don't know what your go-to is, right? You know, my go-to is a little pecan pie, man. Ain't nothing but comfort a brother more than just a hot pecan pie, you know. Let's write that down in your notes, in case you look at comfort food, man, they're amazing for us, right? But there's other ways sometimes that we try to mask the pain that's in there. Sometimes we'll mask the pain with substances, like alcohol or drugs. Sometimes we seek to mask the pain through shopping sprees, right? Man, if I just can buy more stuff, I get more stuff, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be more comfortable, I'm going to comfort myself. I go on these shopping sprees. And sometimes we try to mask it with pleasure or thrill-seeking behaviors. And maybe we veg out behind the computer screen and just play games and go online and watch TV or movies and just make ourselves known. For me, sometimes I try to get lost in my work. My comfort tends to come from me from workaholism. I just work more, clean more, organize more. That's really kind of silly and stupid, but nevertheless, that's my go-to. And we all have our go-tos, if we're honest this morning. We have a go-to that we go to for whatever help we try to give ourselves comfort from. And we discover in those moments what we're really doing is we're masking the pain, not eradicating the pain. Let me go so far as to say this. The single, probably most important thing I'm going to say to you today is this. Whatever saves you ultimately will enslave you. Whatever saves you ultimately will enslave you. Whatever you look to turn to comfort you, to save you and to mask your pain, to comfort you from your pain, many times becomes the very thing that has a grip on your life that just won't let go. But notice that Paul reminds us that God is the source and the true life meaning of life-changing comfort. And what's true about God is that God saves us, but when He saves us, He doesn't enslave us. He's the only one. He's the only thing. When God saves us, He's the only one that sets us free. But when we turn to other things, when we try to comfort ourselves from those other things, they entrap us, they enslave us. Whatever saves you will enslave you. And when it comes to kind of understanding the Christmas story, the first thing that we know is we need to learn to seek out the God of all comfort. And then the second piece I want to share with you is this, and we'll be done, is that we need to learn to expand your comforter zone. It's not good English, but I think it translates. You and I need to learn to expand our comforter zone. Jimmy Fallon asked some people to tweet in some of their most notorious, famous Christmas fails, and there was some really good ones that came in. So I got a couple that I want to share with you. And here's the first one. After opening presents, my sister walked up to my parents and said, "I'm not complaining, just asking." Is that it? Christmas fail, right? Sounds a lot like complaining to me, right? All right, here's this next one. I like this next one. It says this. It says, last year, my dad had me wrap a coffee maker for my mom, and my mom had me wrap a coffee maker for my dad. I said nothing. This kid's like, oh, we're just going to kind of play this out, right? See where this goes, all right? Christmas fail. There's a lot going on when it comes to the Christmas season. There are a lot of things that we can fail at, right? We look out over the next few weeks, and there are a lot of opportunities to comfort others who might be facing some difficulties and some difficult days, and they might be facing some life failures. And here's what it says in the very next book and verse in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 1. It says this: He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others when they are troubled. We will be able to give them the same comfort that God has given us. I love this statement. In many ways, God says to take the thing that you've been given in your life and extend that to the life of others. Billy Graham says it this way. He says that God did not comfort us so that we could be comfortable, but God comforted us so that we could comfort others. In other words, there's purpose in things that make us uncomfortable. There's purpose sometimes in our pain. I'll go so far as to say this, that you only step really into your calling when you step out of your comfort zone. That we take what God has given to us and we extend it to others. Now, let me be kind of candid about this. It doesn't mean that it will always take the pain away when we do that. But what it does is it will bring purpose in our lives in the midst of the pain. It's one of the things that God uses to eradicate our pain, is when we use that pain as a purpose to look over and to comfort others. I've used this analogy before, but that dog still hunts, so I'm going to share it again. Listen, from my understanding, there's really only kind of two, there's the top two most painful, physical painful things that anybody can ever experience are childbirth and passing the kidney stone. Now, I don't know what either one of these feel like, right? Obviously, I've never had a child, but I've observed it many times. I've been part of the delivery process. I've delivered many different babies over a 32-year career. I even delivered my own son. It looks excruciatingly awful, painful, right? So thank you, ladies, for what you do. But I've witnessed how painful this experience is. But now, as far as a kidney stone is concerned, I've witnessed that experience many times as well, too. You actually, people will, there's so much pain, they'll call 911, and you walk into their house, or you walk into the room, in the living room floor, they're lying on the floor just kind of wriggling in pain, moaning in agony, and sitting there. It's just not right. It's wrong, right? The kind of pain that they're in. It's one of the most painful things that I've seen people go through in their lives. I've seen people shot and stabbed and all kinds of other stuff. Now, these two extremely painful things that people have, they couldn't be more different. Why? Think about it for a minute. Childbirth. When women go through this process, that's intensely painful. But on the other side of it, they'll hold up this little life in their hands, and it's almost like God gives them amnesia. They forget about everything that they experienced, and they think, oh, that was so worth it. And sometimes even before they leave the hospital, they'll say things like, boy, I'd like to do that again. When I think about God and His wisdom, and some people say, if guys had to give birth to children, we wouldn't have children. I don't think that's true. I think we all have different pain tolerance levels. But one thing that I know is that if God were to have made men to give childbirth, there would only be one child family. 5, 6, or 7 is in there, right? What I'm trying to tell you. We can do it, but that'd be one, right? There can be only one, right? I think to myself, man, you go through this, why would you ever want to do this again? You just experienced something that's incredibly painful, yet you long to experience it again. Now, I've never met a person who's ever had a kidney stone say to myself, man, I think I'd like to do that again. It's the most agonizing experience that I've ever had. I'd like to have a second opportunity. When you have a child, you carry pictures of the child around, you frame it, you put it around the house. When you have a kidney stone, no one in their right mind ever frames up the kidney stone and puts it around the house, right? Two similar painful experiences, but two very different outcomes. What's the difference? In one experience, there's actually some level of purpose in their pain. It doesn't take the pain away, but it certainly brings meaning to it. Whereas the other experience just seems like it's pain for no reason. Who would ever want to do that? And so the God of all comfort, what He's doing in this moment, when He talks about us kind of expanding our comfort zone, it doesn't mean that the pain necessarily goes away, but it brings purpose to our pain. It brings meaning to our pain. It allows God to do something in and through us in a very real and powerful way. And the truth is, if you ever experienced intense loss in your life, intense tragedy in your life, and you sought the God of all comfort, and He brought healing to you in your journey, guess who's the best person on planet Earth to walk along somebody else who's experienced loss and tragedy in their life? You are. If you've experienced job loss to the point that it was so financially devastating to you that you actually even had to file bankruptcy, and you know what that journey is like and how difficult and how stressful that is, guess who's the most important person on the planet to walk alongside somebody who's experiencing that today? You are. It doesn't take the pain away, but it gives And it provides purpose and meaning in the midst of the pain. And so when God talks about being the God of all comfort, He comforts us not so that we can be comfortable, He comforts us so that we can comfort the lives of others. And then when we see the need and we anticipate that need, we can respond to the need in a meaningful and purpose-filled, life-changing type of way. And when we begin to really partner with God, God gives us this great privilege where He allows us to partner with Him. When we begin to really partner with God, we can almost begin to anticipate what somebody needs even before they actually need it. It's an amazing thing. Kind of reminds me also when I was in the fire department. I was out in California, and I was invited to attend this heavy rescue school back in 1989. I was already a firefighter, I was a paramedic, I was riding a light rescue squad, and they offered me this opportunity to go to this intense school where they put you through all kinds of different scenarios, where they had crashed planes and trains and buses and collapsed buildings, and they had real props for all of those things. There was no make-believe, there was fire, there was smoke, there were a lot of sounds that's in there, and you had to rescue people out of these situations. It was one of those courses that had a real high failure rate. The class size was only 16 at a time, and typically only 6 would look over there and graduate. Only 5 graduated in my class when I was done. So as I was preparing for this 6-month residence training course there in Chicago, one guy, a friend of mine, came to me who went through the course earlier, a couple of years ago. He offered to come and help me and prepare me through some of the things that he thought that I might need as I came and actually went through this course. And I was young and I was cocky, and I thought in my mind, well, that's nice, but I don't think I really need that. I got this. So I went ahead and I took him up on his offer, and so he trained me and he encouraged me, and he told me, listen, the last part of the class is the worst. Of all the months that's in there, the last 5 days, they're going to put you through some crazy things that's in there. You're going to be tired, it's going to be cold, you're going to be wet, it's going to be the middle of winter. He said, listen, don't quit. Don't give up. It's not going to be a physical thing, it's going to be a mental thing. And man, I went through that school, and listen, I tell you, I struggled. It wasn't very intuitive for me. There were times where I wanted to quit. I was watching others who were more seasoned, who had more experience than myself, quit, and I thought to myself, man, I'm not sure that I can make it through. And I don't think I would have made it through if it wasn't been for what my friends took over there and done for me. I'm not sure how it would have turned out for me, but thankfully I had a buddy who anticipated my need in an area that I didn't even know that I needed. It kept me on the right course. He encouraged me, he prepared me. His training kept me focused on what was ahead, and I remembered his words about getting to the last part of those last 5 days, and it was true. Those 5 days were some of the hardest of 5 days of my life, but because of my friend, I got to graduate this course and really kind of set the tone for my career in fire service. Now, I don't tell you that story so that you'll celebrate my personal accomplishment. I tell you that story because I never would have made it without a friend who was walking alongside of me, helping me, anticipating what I didn't even know that I needed. And I thought, man, what a picture that is of our life and our journey, that God comforts us, God changes us, God does something in us. Why? So that others, we can comfort others, so that we can share our story, we can share our experiences, and God can use what we've learned, God can use what we've experienced, and how God has helped us to look over and overcome, and then we can invest into the lives of somebody else that's close to us, and we can be part of a life-changing portion of somebody else's journey. What a privilege that God gives to us. Wherever you're at this Christmas season, whether you're going through whatever you're going through, my prayer for you is that we would be people that would seek the God of all comfort. No matter what's going on in your lives, man, that we wouldn't turn to other things to comfort ourselves, but we would turn to the Father of all compassion and the Father of all comfort. And I also pray for us that this Christmas season that we would be people who would be willing to step out of our comfort zone, step into our calling, and that God would expand our comfort zone, and that we would be willing to help others, that we would do radical things, we would risk things to help others. There are a lot of ways you can do that. I mean, in our community, even the ways that you can do that, even right here. This season is probably one of my most favorite, not only because of the music and the lights and the sounds and the Christmas time experiences that we're going to have here as a church, but it's also part of one of those seasons where God really uses our church to make a difference in the lives of so many people in our community. And one when I think about what it really looks like for us to expand our comfort zone, when I think about what this season kind of looks like, and if you and I lock arm in arm together to be difference makers in the lives of our community, I get really excited about it. I mean, the weekend before Thanksgiving, and just last week, through your generosity, through any of your time and your talents and your money, the In His Name Food Pantry blessed almost 80 families with a Thanksgiving dinner from our food pantry. It was absolutely amazing. That was 80 families, almost 200 different people, and it took dozens and dozens of volunteers, and over 100 turkeys were given out, and people were served because of an experience. It was a great opportunity to provide comfort to others and lead that ministry. And if she were to tell you her story, I've heard her tell it before, that she had some food challenges growing up in her life. And God helped her with that and saw her through that, and now it's part of her heart. She's a nurse practitioner in her secular trade. That's what she does in her daily living. But because God comforted her that way, God's placed on her heart to comfort others in the same way. It's a life-changing experience when we do that same thing. And in that moment when we're doing that, we're not masking the pain. God is beginning to eradicate the pain in us, because what God has done for us, we get to do for others. We're stepping into the pain, we're stepping into the need, stepping into the reality of being the hands and feet of God and be difference makers in our world. We don't just do that around Thanksgiving. We're going to do that again on the third weekend of this month, in December, on the 21st. And you can come out and help comfort others. If you ever hear Dale's story, one of our ushers that was coming in there, many of you don't know this, but Dale would share it willingly with you if he was up here now. Dale spent time in prison. But now God is using him to help others who face the same thing. And Dale walks alongside ex-offenders, and he counsels them, and he comforts them. And he's part of a ministry that Marsha's also part of, called Prayer for Prisoners. And there's an event that happens around here. It's an amazing event called Prayer for Prisoners that we write to prisoners, and many of you are involved in that. And it's an opportunity where we have to bring hope to those who are behind bars, to remind them that they can have a new life and a new future in Christ, that God came at Christmas time to set the prisoners free. We operate a free medical clinic and pharmacy, and there's opportunities to bring health and to bring healing to people by serving over in there. These are all just kind of life-changing initiatives. There's so many more that are out there. There's not an exhaustive list. Our entire church community is an opportunity to lock arm in arm with difference makers in our community. And maybe you do that this Christmas season through an invitation. You've been hearing that all service long. You take on these invitations, or maybe you go online and it's in there, and you just invite other people, friends, family members, co-workers, and you invite them to come this Christmas season. There are many people who are kind of lonely, and they would love to be able to be part of a community and be connected with folks, and there's an opportunity to do that, to be a comfort to others just by making an invitation. Maybe you invite someone to your home, for just a dinner or a meal. It doesn't even have to be a Christmas meal. Maybe it's a Christmas meal too, but just maybe someone else who might be lonely. Right now we're doing our Christmas offering for the IMB, the Lottie Christmas International Missionary Board Christmas offering, where we can be a comfort to the missionaries that are serving around the world, that are helping us to fulfill the great commandment to go and take the gospel to the very ends of the earth. You can be part of that. But in a couple weeks after that, we're going to be taking an offering up for our 245 ministry. And our 245 ministry simply comes from Acts 2:45, where the Bible says that the believers that were gathered there, they took their possessions, they sold them, and they gave to one another that they had need. It's just a ministry where we look over there and we can help take care of the needs of the body. Right? If somebody has a need to see here, we can respond. Maybe not one of us can do it, or even two of us, but collectively all of us can do that. And you can be a part about that. And our goal is to raise $5,000 this Christmas season to add that to our ministry fund. Would you think about partnering with us? Would you pray about partnering with us? Would you lock arms with us? Would you be people that take the comfort that God has given to you, that's truly set you free, that has eradicated the things that you struggle with in your life, that God has given you new opportunities, and be a difference maker in the life of other people? May our lives be changed as we seek to change the lives of others.